we are here representing our own countries. The means of communication should allow remote access and communication so that no time is wasted and that we can realize the importance of the diplomacy as we come together for the betterment of the communities that we represent here.
Having such events and networking, especially with technical experts in this session, is very, very important for us to understand on how this whole process fits into the diplomacy and how we can, as small states, engage in technical working groups.
When I came this morning, it was a bit like, why and what? But then listening to the speakers and this panel this morning, I realized that yet indeed, it's a very sensitive topic that should be discussed because we have to set the future. And I realized very quickly among the few speakers that there are challenges as to reach decisions and how can we include those private stakeholders that are today effectively providing services that we all rely on. International organizations too often relied on government stakeholders, and today things have completely changed when you actually need the private sector to get involved in your decision-making process because they have the technology. So you just can't work in silos, you have to work together.
It's really, really crucial to remember that standards play a very important role in building trust, in supporting digital transformation, digital trade, and also for us to have the opportunity to share all this important information and learnings about the programs that we've been working in.
The world has changed enormously over the last 20 years, and diplomacy is part of that. Diplomacy is now being conducted in a way that was not possible 20 years ago because of digital technologies. It's the decision-making processes that diplomats have to make they have to make them much more quickly than they did in the past because of the way in which the news agenda moves, for example. But every aspect of public policy internationally is now partly digital, and so an understanding of how the digital environment works, and particularly its interface with other issues like the environment, like security, that's really important for the way in which diplomats have to do their work.
A lot of the discussions really are cutting edge, real new and emerging issues that are happening within the telecommunications field. And this is a very good space because you bring in the leading thought leaders that really promote that conversation, and it can lead to even further initiatives or project will in addressing some of the key issues that were raised today at this forum.
The forum today was excellent. We're in an uncertain place technologically. Data or data, depending upon where you go to school, went to school, is a big issue for all countries. Sovereignty and having sovereignty over our own data is critical. Also in terms of influence of the narrative that relates again to data is important. So conversations around that and how to regulate these environments, and particularly as it relates to platforms that are often more leaning towards commercialism and business and analytics, etc., as opposed to, not all the time, but more often than not, as opposed to development. So how do we strike that balance of using technology for good?
This forum was very important since it changed my viewpoint on what is exactly digital diplomacy and its use for the diplomats, and also how we can use digital transformation in a positive way, an inclusive way. So applying these new technologies for the benefit of the society.